Welcome to one of the angriest WAN shows that you're ever likely to encounter. Between the blue screen of our streaming PC about 9 minutes ago when we were supposed to be... Which has not happened in a while, and the fact that XSplit managed to completely forget everything, and the fact that Chrome continues to be a giant steaming pile of garbage, and the recently closed tab feature, which used to just work completely automatically and be effortless, now just seems to randomly totally not work. And I would switch to Firefox, but that's been a giant piece of garbage for the last 6 months or so as well. I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to go back to Internet Explorer? Like, honestly.
It's still worse. It's still worse.
And that's the sad thing. That's the saddest part of all of this, is that somehow they still manage to be worse. When they're And our Domo-kun fell down!
And the whole background is ruined.
It's all ruined! I quit. Hate this show.
I'm gonna fix everything. You keep talking.
No.
I want to fix it.
Well, I don't want to keep talking. You talk.
It's gonna get worse.
You're gonna break it. You know there's stuff in there, right?
It's okay. We're
Thank
good.
you.
He's standing now.
All right.
Everything is fine in the universe.
He's looking over us.
Maybe that's why the browser's broken. All
right, welcome to the show, guys. We've got some great stuff for you this week. Oculus is... What do you have? Stormtrooper. No.
Yeah. Unbox it now.
Give me.
Yes. Okay.
Holy crap.
Oh
okay.
my god. Screw news topics. News topics don't matter.
My day just got fixed. Completely.
Okay, don't chop this out.
Okay, yeah, that would break my day.
I'm gonna move this.
Okay. This, my friends, is from originalstormtrooper.com. We are gonna have a full unboxing and like gearing up guide with lots of glamour footage and all that stuff coming soon. And let the jokes come. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Yes, thank you. Yes, I am. I'm probably gonna make that joke for you guys, in spite of the fact that it's not funny at all, just to prevent people from flooding the comments of that video with, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Thank you, Leia. Very helpful. And I'm even shorter than Mark Hamill, so it's like even worse. So this is from originalstormtrooper.com. It is a full set of stormtrooper armor. Okay, so there's a... Oh, holy cow.
Wow.
And it's signed by Andrew Ainsworth, who designed the original A New Hope Stormtrooper helmets and armor and all that cool stuff, or at least the helmets. Okay, I might be a little bit not quite up on my history. So they include a catalog that includes the Hero Trooper helmet, the standard.
We've got some falling going on.
Okay, hold on. Don't worry, it's armor, so we couldn't break it that hardcore.
But you can get scratched.
Yeah, I don't want it to get scratched either. Okay, hold on. So anyway, they've got like Imperial pilot helmets, they've got Stormtrooper helmets, they have Darth Vader helmets and busts, and they have full sets of completely wearable, authentic armor. So I don't know if it's all in this box or if it's not, but at any rate, we're going to do a bit of a live unboxing here. And holy crap, okay, there's another box this size. And I have no idea how any of this is going to work. So this looks like...
Is this the helmet?
Thigh armor. That's probably the helmet. This looks like thigh armor. So we got... Oh no, hold on.
This will be shin.
Yeah,
there you go.
That'll be shin. So there's one of the legs. Just like that. Oh, I'm so sad.
What?
I think that's the bust, so that we can display him in the back of the WAN show set. Okay, they also include. This is like the best day ever. All the anger is completely gone. So they also include a black, like bodysuit thing, so that in the gaps in the armor you don't just see like your jeans or whatever. So that zips up. Okay.
Styling.
They include whatever this is.
The best.
Okay, they don't have official shoes, so they just have like some recommended models, and they're not available in every size. So this is just like, you know, boots, and they're like 2.5 sizes too big for me. But at least I'll have no way. Guess what this model of shoe is called?
What?
Guess.
The Stormtrooper.
Pimp 50.
Wow.
Right inside. Not even kidding. So that's not... It's not from original Stormtrooper Dog. Oh, wow. Okay, so this... Holy crap. E11 blaster, individually numbered, signed by Andrew Ainsworth, certificate of authenticity, all that good stuff. It comes with... Holy crap, it comes with everything. Look at that. Individually numbered here as well. Wow. And it comes with a little display stand. Holy crap.
I wish we got 2.
Sorry, dude.
Epic.
So to be clear, guys, they sent this to us. They're extremely expensive, and while I had been eyeing their stuff, literally for years, I had never really gotten together the funds to actually to order it. But they reached out to us about sending us a unit, and in exchange, all we have to do is show you guys like how to put it on and stuff. So here's a neck thing, so that you don't see your neck through the gap between the helmet and the armor. This is presumably a holster for the blaster. Okay, let's keep going here. If you guys are bored, you can let me know on Twitch. Apparently, no one cares. No one's bored, I mean. Okay, so this looks like shoulders. Okay, so there's like Velcro pieces here. I don't want anything to get scratched, so I'm going to leave it all in the baggies for now.
You should put the helmet on.
Let's get the helmet going on here. I'm not going to make you guys sit through all the different pieces of armor, but maybe the chest plate. Brandon, was that everything that was in this box? No? There's other stuff? Holy crap. Okay, so that's the stand, and yeah, that's the bust that he's gonna live on.
Ah, yes it is.
Okay, so there you have it, guys.
Here. There's a chest plate.
Fantastic. Oh, don't wanna... Oh, look at that. Okay, so that's the tinted lenses, which I guess I'll leave off for now. So I don't know. Oh, it's signed inside. Ah! Luke, I am your father. Wait, I think I got that wrong.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. So there we have it, guys. Obviously, I'll have to do some playing around with it in terms of size, because they're a little bit bigger than a normal person's head.
Can I put it on?
I'm sorry?
Can I put it on?
Yeah, absolutely. Here you go.
Well, I'm holding the...
Here, I got it. Oh, I'm so stoked to do the unboxing. Don't worry, you got this. Should fit. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't want to break it.
No one wants you to break it.
There we go. That's epic. It is kind of massive.
Yeah, it's like huge inside. So you got to picture that with like the proper lenses inside, of course. They go on the inside.
Yeah.
I am like stoked so hard.
Oh, there we go. If you turn your head sideways, it's super easy.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these in something safe.
I got a box.
Oh, you got? Okay.
That's awesome. It's cool that it's signed.
I know. Holy crap. This will be like the best headquarters statue ever. The only thing better would be a life-size statue of Gay Ben. That would be better. But
made
not
in
by
bronze.
much. Yeah, in bronze. Alright, so there's the front and back plate pieces. I'm just going to put those over there. Now everything's all like scattered around. Oh yeah! That crotch protection. Right there.
The belt's right in here.
Okay. There's the butt protection. Not quite as robust as the crotch protection, but that's fine. The butt is less fragile than the crotch. There's a tech tip for you. And then we've got the, the utility belt. Whatever these are. Oh, this is the little canister that goes at the back of whatever it is. I never actually saw a Stormtrooper use one. And there you have it, guys. Okay, we can drop this back there. Oh, no, we can't.
Nope.
Brandon!
Is there anything in this? Oh, yeah.
Oh, are those gloves?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Sweet.
Your knife is open.
Oh, thank you. Someone says they're bailing. It's too boring. Don't worry, the show is starting in like a couple seconds. All right, so the gloves aren't really anything that special. They're rubber gloves with armor on the back, but as long as people don't look too closely at them, they'll probably never notice. I'll probably try to find something else. These are just stuck on with Velcro anyway, so I can probably... I mean, yeah, you're going to have to customize it a little bit anyway, but okay. There we go. We'll compromise.
I won't do the whole show with those in your hands.
They're pretty warm, actually. They're rubber gloves, so... All right, guys, we got a great show for you today. I'm sorry for the... Oh, there goes my water bottle. I'm sorry for the interruption there at the beginning. Oculus is being sued over their name by Oculu. The 290X, the R9 290X, a graphics card that, by all rights, really isn't that competitive price to performance at its original introduced price, which was $549.99. Has now reached a $900 price on Newegg. The most baffling thing about all of this is that this pricing is not even reflected in other markets outside of North America. So more on that later. Google and Foxconn have started to work more closely on robotic manufacturing techniques that will allow them to... I don't know, it looks like the objective is to get rid of inexpensive labor in their Chinese factories, and as another sort of benefit to this, potentially move manufacturing back overseas to North America. But then... Depending on
where you place benefit.
Depending on... Okay, you know what? We'll talk about that more in depth, because I have a lot to say about that one. And finally, what do you got?
Well, you spilled a little bit into my section.
I did.
You did 3 things.
I always spill into your section.
There's also the Flappy Bird insanity, which is like the whole internet has something to say about it, and it's ridiculous, and we'll talk about that later. And that's about it.
It is so baffling to me that Flappy Bird matters at all. Like, at all. Our sponsor today is Squarespace, guys. Squarespace.com/Linus. Head on over there to check out the easy way to make yourself a beautiful, functional website. Visit squarespace.com. I think I just said that. So yeah, squarespace.com. They're our sponsor for today. Thank you so much for making the WAN show possible on this Friday the 14th. Which is either lucky or unlucky, depending on how lucky you're planning to be today. Or...
Oh!
All right, so let's get going on our first topic here. Steam adds a recently updated feature to the storefront. This is actually either going to be awesome. This was posted by Askew on the forum. This is either going to be awesome or it's going to open things up to abuse. What is your take on this?
I think it's buried far enough down on the front page that I don't think it's going to be that bad. And then if you decide to, you can just completely ignore all parts of it except for the Your Games and Software part, in which I do actually think it could be good.
Okay, so here are a couple of problems I have. Let me go back to the earlier days of YouTube, back when the homepage of YouTube.com was not necessarily just videos about Justin Bieber, and it was kind of a mix. Like there was an actual section at the bottom for technology, for example. Anyway, I got homepaged once randomly on a video that honestly I didn't really think was anything special. It was actually, this is kind of funny. Okay, so I'm a bit of a tangent here. It was actually like a showcase video for an NCIX PC special edition system that was based around a brand new AMD processor launch with an AMD graphics card at the time. The system didn't sell a single unit. It was the only system we ever released at NCIX that didn't sell a single unit, and we actually had to disassemble the prototype and then repurpose the parts. Okay, so anyway, that got featured on the front page of YouTube.com as like one of the technology videos. That video went from 0 to a couple 100,000 views overnight. That is how powerful even the crappiest featured spot on the front of a high traffic page like youtube.com or the front of the Steam store can be. And I think that people will try to game the system. Developers will try to game the system in order to get featured in that spot.
I'm sure that they will. I'm sure that certain ones will, especially, and I worry about some things where it's like game updates and things are still in early access.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like update, because early access is such a big thing now.
Yes.
And when you're in early access, you're not too worried about if things are unstable and like catering to your current audience. More what you're doing is, oh my god, let's produce the game, so release tons of updates. And in other situations, and especially if you're in early access, you're probably trying to get funding, and crowdfunding and early purchases is such a big thing now that people are going to jump on that like crazy. I do still like the Your Games and Software side, though.
Yes. But if you were a small dev, would you release daily updates to your game, like, and tweak a texture here or there to get featured in that recently updated list?
I mean, I'd like to say no, but probably yes. Because there's so many things that people are bundling into really big updates to not annoy people with tons of little updates. Because they're working on things very actively. And some things don't take that long. Some things take a really long time. Some things don't take that long. So if you can instead plug people with updates all the time, but have like that naturalized advertisement of being on the front page all the time, that could help a lot.
I mean, what Tom Bowie of Valve says is, the more options developers have for communicating about their products, the better it is for everyone. With this new product section and corresponding developer tools, customers can more easily discover products that provide ongoing value and involvement from the developers. And I agree, more two-way communication between developers and customers is definitely good, as long as that communication is somehow positive. Oh wow, I feel really terrible for this, but I forget whose video it was. Batman, someone tweeted to me. I'm gonna try and find this in a moment here, but someone tweeted to me a video about Batman Arkham Origins, where basically they just came out and said, yeah, there are game-breaking bugs that cause like save games to be lost, but we're not fixing them, but we're hard at work on the DLC. And I was like, really? I'm gonna try and find that while you move on to the next topic. But the other thing Steam added that actually isn't in the doc that I'm more excited about than this is the new tagging system. Did you see that? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I think it was just somewhere else.
Is it in the doc? No.
I guess it's not fleshed.
Yeah, anyway, so Steam's added a new tagging system that will allow people to add tags to games in much the same way that they would add them to things like forum threads or any other tagging-based service. Obviously, if you and your, brother are like, let's put penis on that one, that's not going to work. It's not going to show up. It has to be something that it gets tagged with over and over and over again in order to become an official tag for the product. But I personally think that's fantastic, because this is something we were complaining about only a few weeks ago. Because I was sitting there in bed trying out Valve in-home streaming, and I was like, I want to play a game with my wife. I got a couple controllers. I got a computer. What do you got, Steam? And the answer was...
Who the heck knows?
Oh.
And even I would even like it if you could do it in your own library. So, like, I don't know if this works, but if the search for that applies to your own library, so you could be like, okay, co-op, and then it does a search through your own library for those tags that are on the store. I hope it's in both sections, because that would be awesome.
So basically, you're so ballin' that you have so many games that you need to catalog them. I'm just...
No, like bundles.
I know it's mostly like indie bundles.
You spend like $4 and you get 18 billion games. Like, everyone's Steam library has just exploded over the last year or two.
I'm just trolling you.
Insanity bundles.
Just like every day.
What?
Oh no, I thought that shirt was like an Everyday I'm Shuffling shirt. And I was like, what? I thought I was the only one tasteless enough to wear that. All right, do you want to move on to the next topic while I find the Batman thing?
So Valve wins, and there will be no selling of digitally used games. So this was in Germany, but it's probably going to spill over everywhere. The Federation of German Consumer Organizations, also known as Verbraucherzentrale Bundesverband. Don't worry about it. And VZBZ for short was versus Valve, and they were saying that there was a European Union decision from 2012 that the states that states that companies cannot stop consumers from selling their digital products. But Valve has been able to kind of get around that. They are not in that compilation, and we expect things like Origin and Uplay to have the same exemption status. Some people freaked out about this, but I was actually surprised. I expected the gaming community to explode, like the gaming community always does. But as far as I can tell, no one really cares. I think that's probably tied into the fact that Steam sales are so ridiculous that there's almost no point in ever selling a game because you'll get 50 cents for it. And it's just really not a big deal. But yeah, I expected more of a backlash from this. One thing that I worry about is when you go buy a game in the store now, if you buy a physical copy of a game, half the time it's a disc, but then the disc just has a Steam key or a Uplay key or an Origin key. Actually, pretty much always it's one of those situations. And even if you install the game, it's just like, okay, it's installed, now attach it to one of those accounts so that you can actually play. Which, does that mean that that applies to physical games as well? You can't sell them? Yes, because that's attached to that service, and that service you can't sell things on. So, it's interesting. I also wonder about double standard issues, where they freak out if, with DRM issues, there's always on DRM all over the place, and they'll shut down servers, and they don't care if your game has zero value anymore after buying it, even at full price a year or two later. That doesn't matter. You're just a consumer. Shut up, go away. This isn't a normal product. But then if you want to resell it, it depends on what side of the battle you're on, and right now it's always on their side, which is, I'm not too stoked about that.
One thing I'm happy about, and I wasn't really listening to what you were saying because I was looking this up, sorry, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but one thing that I'm happy about is that Valve, at the very least, has already announced family sharing.
Yes. Yeah.
So now it's kind of too late. The cat's out of the bag, which means that if Valve's going to offer family sharing, which would allow at least people within the same house to share a game, then someone's going to have to sort of figure out that, okay, Steam's really competitive, okay, maybe we'll do that on Origin, okay, maybe we'll do it on Uplay, and I suspect we'll move towards that as an industry standard. However, you know, the inability to resell games is a huge concern for me because, and I think for a lot of people, because for frequent upgraders, for hobbyists, think about yourself as a hobbyist or enthusiast. I think that it's wrong to say that anyone who's an enthusiast spends a ton of money. Maybe you spend a ton of money, but you find smarter ways to spend your money. So for example, when I was in high school and I didn't have a lot of money, I didn't have a full-time job, I was going to school. I was like lifeguarding 1 or 2 shifts on the weekends, and that was all the spending money I had. I still had a ballin' computer. And the way that I did that was by spending smart. So I would go on the used forums and I would buy like the next one down, and then I would acquire that. So I'd put my $200 down, and that was tied up. It was in my computer. And then what I would do is I would make sure I was keeping up on the news, and as soon as I started to see rumors of something coming that would make that product irrelevant, I'd flip it quickly. So I'd go, okay, I'm gonna, even though it's still kind of worth 200, I'm gonna flip it for, you know, 175 or 180. Make sure that I move it quickly. Then I would take that cash and I would put my 180 that I recovered from that original card, I'd pitch in maybe another $100. So I'm spending $120 over what I spent 6 months ago, and I would get myself a higher tier of card this time. And I was able to gradually build up my PC to be really awesome, and then I was able to keep it up to date by churning through hardware, by flipping it for sometimes more than what I paid if you're a really, really savvy shopper. This eliminates that. It turns enthusiasts into a perceived wallet rather than people who can be enthusiastic about something instead of just spending money on it. There, the difference between spending a bunch of money and being an enthusiast. And this takes the enthusiast option, the savvy enthusiast option, away and turns us all into people who just have to spend a lot of money. Not everyone has a ton of money. And you can make the argument, and we've talked about this before, well, just don't buy games at release. You can just not buy games at release. You can just say, look, EA, Ubisoft, Valve, for that matter, I'm not going to spend $60 on your game. I can wait 2 weeks because you're going to drop the price to $40 anyway.
Or with ESO when it goes free to play.
And that is an option. But unfortunately, when you think about enthusiasts, That's not how they are. You want to be there in the thick of things. You want to be experiencing all the different areas and talking about it with your friends because they're all doing that at the same time. And this locks those people in and extracts more cash from them, and it makes me extremely unhappy.
I also find it weird where, like, you'd think if you lose all these freedoms by having a digital copy of something, you would gain something. And the most obvious thing to gain from this situation would be cost savings.
Yeah.
A digital copy of something should be drastically cheaper than a physical copy.
You would think that. They don't
And
have to
it's not.
ship it. They don't have to print it. And something a lot of people don't think about is that there's a lot more to it than shipping. There's the person to actually put it on the shelf. I mean, there's the space. Do you have any idea how much retail space costs to lease? So there's that. And then there's storage, because space adds up over time. When you have a pallet of something sitting in the back of a Best Buy, do you have any idea how much that costs to keep there for a month if it's not selling well? Physical media has so much more risk involved in it and so much more cost involved. The fact that we're paying the same for digital media is criminal. I noticed this. I'd never had a Kindle before. I just uploaded my Kindle review last night, my first one ever, and I noticed that Amazon's generous Lend to a Friend program allows you to lend every ebook you buy once for a period of 14 days. Are you kidding me? I bought Story of Ice and Fire, or whatever it is, the Game of Thrones books, as a single ebook. 14 days?
There's no way it's gonna happen.
Impossible. I think it would actually take longer than 14 days of back-to-back reading to okay, probably not.
No.
But if you have a full-time job, it's not feasible. And that is really frustrating. Apparently I'm way too into this. I'm sorry, Twitch chat, but it does kind of...
He's just amped up right now.
It does kind of get me going.
He's just amped up. He's excited for later. You just said, yeah, sorry. You said get me going. I had to.
It's Valentine's Day. I can be
know.
excited for later all I want.
I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So here's where we're heading. Guys, here's a little bit of insight. This won't last forever, because people will be upset and competition is still on our side. There are still competing entities. Nobody has a monopoly on all of this, and thank goodness for that.
It's damn close, though.
I know. But what will happen eventually is this model will go away, and it will be replaced by a model that we didn't really like, and everyone was pissed about, but we've started to accept. And that is the subscription model. Netflix is getting away with it. How long is it Amazon has their lending program for Prime members. Okay? How long is it going to be before gamers are just forced to suck it up? When the news about services like OnLive, so that's on-demand, streaming-based gaming services, first started to surface, we all got so mad because compared to what we had at the time, which was physical copies that we basically owned, especially before pervasive, always-on DRM came about.
Yeah.
We basically owned them. Compared to that, we were looking at this going, are you freaking kidding me? But over time, subscription-based individual games with the justification of server upkeep like World of Warcraft have been successful. Other subscription-based services have been successful. They've eroded our rights with respect to the software that we lease from them, really, that we thought we owned, but actually we're leasing from them to the point where that will become the more attractive alternative compared to buying digital games that you don't have any rights for.
There's some back and forth with that. I don't mind individual games when they have subscription if there's enough justification for it. EVE Online exists for a reason.
Yes.
EVE Online has existed for a very long time at a subscription fee because they dump out so much stuff all the time that it kind of makes sense. You get all the expansions for free because you're paying for them.
Because you're paying for them.
You're paying $15 a month. You're paying for them. The WoW model is difficult because you buy the game up front and then you pay for all the expansions.
And then you pay for the subscription, and then you pay for in-game gold, and you pay for... I mean, you don't do that.
No. You can do that in EVE, kind of. You buy these time codes and you can sell them in game, officially. It's a real thing. It's done through the Eve website.
I love this. Fonzie Scheme says, I'm switching to board games exclusively. They're going to turn those digital too. So yeah, don't imagine that you're going to be free from... actually, at CES, Intel was showing off a large table-sized tablet, perfect for playing Monopoly.
Yeah.
So you're screwed either way. Sorry, go ahead.
But I think it's probably coming, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does show up at some point if they do themed stuff. Because there's so many games.
Yeah.
So I could easily see it being like, I'm an RPG subscriber.
That's an interesting thought. And that's probably the direction it's going. You wouldn't just be a Steam subscriber.
Because that's way too big. Or you could, but that would be insanely expensive.
Right. They'll probably have like the $200 or $300 a month Ultimate Bundle, and you can play anything on all of Steam. And that'll probably exist. But otherwise, it's probably like...
Or you can be like the week late one.
Yeah,
or it's a subscriber thing, but your subscriber thing, you get the games late.
Oh, there's gonna
or
be...
if you pay individually, you get them on day of.
There's going to be so many ways for them to squeeze an extra $3 or $4 out of us.
Yeah. Like it's going to be brutal because Netflix is a completely different realm. When you get like games and the library that is Steam, which with Greenlight and everything is just all the time.
So you'll be looking at $50 a month for a basic subscription, 60 to FPS, let's say for example. $60 a month includes all the DLC for those FPSs, and $70 a month gives you a premium download service and access to better servers, and includes a membership in like a TeamSpeak server, and $80 a month, and it's gonna go on and on and on and on.
It almost makes more sense because you don't own any of that anyways, considering you're leasing all of it anyways.
Yep.
So now you're just on a monthly lease instead of a perma lease. It's like, yeah.
Someone says we can stop that from happening, just don't pay it. And I wish that was true. There are so many things that I wish were true. Why didn't we stop Xbox Live Gold? Why did we pay for that? I certainly didn't. I never gave them a penny for an Xbox Live Gold membership, but enough people did that is now something that we accept, and Sony's doing it as well, and it has become industry standard. When did it become industry standard to pay for game servers, and why do we accept this? It was never industry standard before. When did we give them the option to take away the ability for us to host our own game servers? Why is it that you can still play Team Fortress 1 and original Counter-Strike? Because Valve cared. Or maybe they just don't care anymore at this point. Whatever the case may be. They gave us the option, whereas you look at... What was that stupid game that got pulled off of Steam not that long ago?
I don't even remember the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. But anyway, it was some flying game. And the point is that it got shut down and the servers don't exist anymore. The game doesn't exist for paying customers because we allowed at the time we considered them rights, I guess. We allowed our rights to be eroded. And we just accepted it, and we kept giving them our money.
And I always get ragged on for my love of physical copies of things, but I honestly think that's part of it. I've always liked a physical copy of something because even though a lot of them now are literally just ports for Steam keys, I feel like I actually own something. We've let ownership completely disappear, which I don't like at all.
I mean, unless it's like slavery, you shouldn't own people.
Well, I'm not trying to own people, though. I'm trying to own that.
You're not trying to own people? What kind of gamer are you? Yes!
Man, you had that set up a really long time before that. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Seriously, though. Like,
do you want to hear me rant for another 10 minutes, or should we move on to something else?
Let's skip that one for now. We jump into this weird topic.
And one of my videos going up this weekend? Oh, man. You guys, prepare yourselves. This product, this manufacturer, this product, anyway. Anyway, okay. Posted by Beebskadoo on the forum. Google Voice search just got a lot smarter. Hit it.
Meh.
Oh, come on.
Meh.
Well, I'm thirsty, so you're going to have to do it while I go get a drink.
Okay,
Because
well,
I talked too much.
apparently now they have a field where you can put in your relationship with that contact, so you can be like, this is my uncle, or this is my mom, or this is my dad, or whatever you want to do.
Okay, I have to rant for a second. And yet, they still haven't figured out that you might want to put multiple contacts and tie them all to the same number. If anyone from Google's watching, why can't I put my Grandpa Archie and my Grandma Donna both in my address book and just have the same number for both of them? So that I don't have to think about it. So I don't have to remember, did I put them under Grandma and Grandpa? Did I put them under Archie and Donna? Did I put them under Donna and Archie? Why do I have to remember that crap? I'm getting a drink.
Okay, so you can attach these labels essentially to different people, which is their relationship status with you. So cool. You can say call dad, or you can say call mom. Not
to mention that Android's voice calling is ridiculous. On iOS, I can just say call wife mobile, and it says calling wife mobile, and it rings. On Android, it's like call wife mobile. It's like calling wife. Do you want to dial? And she's got like 4 numbers. And then it's like, okay, that one. And it takes forever to get through this option. And it's like, do you want... Yes! Yes, I do. Why does it take so long? Okay. It's like they want me to use my phone when I'm driving. It's like Google wants to kill us.
Speaking of Apple products, actually, because I don't normally do that, because I don't normally like them. In this case, they actually definitely had the one-up. So with Apple, there's a tap to add custom label, and you can add whatever the heck you want. So you could be mom or whatever. And then if you say call mom, and it doesn't know your mom's number, say you haven't added that custom label. If you say call mom, it'll ask you what is your mom's name. And then if you tell it your mom's name, it'll find that person in your contact list, add that custom field for you, and then call them. GG. I don't even know why this is a news article. Linus put it in here, so I filled it out with everything that's on there. I guess he put it in here so that he could rant about the things that he doesn't like that already exist, that don't necessarily pertain to this. I don't know! This was linked, like he said, by Beefskadoo on the forum. Let's see where the source is from. Just none of my cares about it. Is linked, it's from The Verge. And like, honestly, and I know not everyone does this, but my dad in my phone is just dad, and then his full name after that. His first name is his middle name, and then his last name is our last name.
Why do we have to use workarounds? That's what I want to know.
Well, I was just talking about
I'm
how
like sweating.
Siri's thing does it better anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know about if you say call mom, it'll ask you who your mom is, and then you just tell it who your mom is, and then it adds a custom field that they're your mom, and then they just calls them.
Some days I'm tempted to go back to Apple.
I'm still not, but I'm just not impressed by that. Like, cool, okay, it's there, but...
At least they're improving. I just don't see how it's a news item.
So I think it's come down to which thing you want to fight about next.
Really? Oh, you know what? No, I'm not that angry about the Oculus thing. I'll let you be angry about that.
I'm actually not super... There's reason. Okay, so...
What? Oh. The page you're looking for cannot be found. Well, let's try it again. Linus Tech Tips, Oculus.
It worked on mine.
That's weird. That's weird.
One of the problems... which one are you clicking on?
I don't know. Anyway, okay, well, the point is...
Are you clicking on this one? Oculus...
Yeah. That's weird, hey? Okay, anyway, let's move on. So go ahead.
Huh. Anyways, so there's a company called Oculus. What they do is they supply side video / pre-roll monetization platform for publishers, professionals, seamless, whatever, ad-free delivery video platform for businesses, whatever you want. And they have solutions like video encoding, video SEO, video email, and syndication, real-time video management and analytics, available 24/7, blah, 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 blah. They're video embedding and video streaming solutions. So essentially, instead of just embedding YouTube videos on your website, you could embed your own videos fairly easily on your website with metrics and proper SEO and all that kind of stuff. And their name is Oculus, spelt exactly the same as Oculus without the final S. And they are mad because it's spelt exactly the same as Oculus without the final S. And they existed before Oculus. A quote from Palmer Luckey? I can't remember exactly how you say his last name. Said, unfortunately, he decided They didn't just decide to put an S on the end of Oculu, is essentially what he's trying to say. That was never their plan. What they're trying to say is Oculus, the Latin word for an eye. They weren't adding an S to some other company's final name. The problem is that it doesn't really matter. You're still one letter off of another company's name, and
but the company's not even in a competing industry.
Their fight for that is that they could be.
They could be,
but
they aren't.
I know, but they're defining what they do. It's definition issues. I'm not on their side.
I know.
I'm just playing from
their side. I'm just angry still.
So yes, so am I. Their whole thing is their video streaming. They're not trying to be like, we do exactly these things, because what if they spread out from what they're doing? So they're video streaming. And what they're saying is Oculus could very easily on their roadmap have video streaming. Because what if you start watching videos or certain experiences that come from Oculus servers? Oculus is getting into game development and media stuff. So they're saying eventually their roads could cross. So take care of it now, because it's a one letter off name for companies that could cross each other. I still think it's completely ridiculous, because if I hear Oculu...
They don't sound alike.
It doesn't sound different. If it was Ocula... Like, that's actually a pretty big difference.
Ocula.
It's a really weird word, Ocula. But if that was actually what it sounded like, maybe, I don't know. The one thing that was kind of funny is if you Google Oculu, the first result is Oculus.
That's probably not helping.
It's not helping. It's not helping at all, but I find it hilarious. It's just because Google is autocorrecting the last letter. It doesn't know what it sounds like. But
right, because no one's actually searching for Oculus. Sorry, you're just not as popular as Oculus because you're not... You know what? The reality of it is...
They're not a small company.
I know. A lot of people, fine. I said unpopular.
I know, but I have to put that out there because a lot of people have been saying that they're a small company. They're not a small company. They're just not a consumer-facing company.
Yeah. This is kind of like when people were baffled that Toshiba bought OCZ's SSD business. And they were like, well, Toshiba doesn't have any presence in the SSD. Oh, yes, they do have presence in the SSD space. They're huge. They just don't necessarily sell to consumers. But many of your laptops very likely contain Toshiba SSDs with their toggle NAND. They're an actual manufacturer. Anyway, all that aside, I don't think it's going to matter. Either Oculus is going to have to change their name or they're not. And if they change their name, does it matter? Are you not going to buy one because they changed their name?
It could hurt their trending.
Maybe.
Part of the problem is a lot of people think it's called an Oculus.
Yeah, that's true.
The Oculus name has been passed around more than the Rift name has.
That's true.
No
one says buying a Rift.
No.
Because what's a Rift?
I even catch myself very consistently saying I'm looking into an Oculus or whatever, because they only have one product, so a lot of people do that. Which is going to be part of the problem if they have to change their name. Now, knowing them, they'll probably change it to something similar, but not similar enough that someone can sue them.
Boculus.
I wonder if there's a Latin name for
the
two
fake of
eyes.
It. Like the cheap Chinese clone could be called a Croculus. And the one for investment bankers could be called the Stockulus.
Oh.
And if you're making fun of the whole thing, you could wear a Moculus. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a different Latin word for eyes instead of eye.
I don't think so.
Because Oculus is an eye. So hopefully they can, I don't know, hopefully they can find something that makes sense if they have to change their name, but I fully expect them to fight it at this point. Although it is unfortunate because you would hope that all that money that they just got, that $75 million of investment that they very recently got, would go towards making the consumer release instead of fighting someone for a freaking name. I'm getting really tired of all the trademarky stuff in the last little while. Candy and Saga. It's like, man.
And like Latin words.
And Latin words. Like that's one thing that sucks too, is it's a word.
Yeah. Whereas Oculu isn't.
Is not. So it's like, really? No, you can't just make something that's like, you can't say your word is Bok, B-O-K. And they're like, oh, well, your name can't be Book.
Right.
They don't sound the same. They're one letter off.
Right.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
You should be Oculus's lawyer.
I should.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. If they would let me see the release version.
Yeah. You should be like, if someone else's name was LUK, which isn't a real name, can I not be named Luke? I mean,
Objection!
Consider Chewbacca. He's a Wookiee. He lives on the planet Kashyyyk. Does this make sense? Okay, so let's move on to the ISP disaster in the US.
Wait,
Comcast to buy, and this was posted by Pit 5000, and Pit 5000 is probably the place where all of the subscribers of Comcast or Time Warner Cable Services are thinking about throwing themselves. Because this is terrible. A Comcast takeover of Time Warner Cable would be, I mean, they're both evil enough
So
as it
bad.
is. And it's already enough of a backdoor colluding relationship going on between ISPs here in North America anyway in general without them actually merging.
There's some things that just totally don't seem right. So in a quote, they say, it will not reduce competition in any relevant market because our companies do not overlap completely with each other. In fact, we do not operate in any of the same zip code. When I read that, even without doing any further research, I was like, wow, that sounds impossible. Then reading on the thread on our forum, someone said, the only services offered in my area are these two companies. So, like, I haven't actually gone and looked at a coverage map, but I'm assuming that guy on the forum isn't just lying for fun. And it makes complete sense that they would both be offered in at least some type of overlap somewhere. And saying that they do not operate in any of the same zip code sounds a little bit insane. Maybe someone in the Twitch chat can tell me that I'm wrong. Because
Yeah, let us know.
I haven't done deep research of this, so I could definitely be wrong. But, like, really? I don't know. That seems a little bit sketchy to me.
I mean, was this kind of consolidation bound to happen? I forget the ISP side of things. Let's talk about cable TV. Were all the cable TV providers going to survive? Because I don't know about you, but I sure as heck don't have a cable TV subscription. I'm not planning to get one. I will never, ever need one ever again in my life.
I have never had one. I think my parents had one for a not super large period of time when my grandpa was kind of staying with us for a while because he wanted to watch it. Other than that, don't think we really had one. And then since I have moved out, which was actually a fair amount of years ago, I have never had one, and I have never cared.
So we've had someone say they don't directly compete, and that's another thing too, is what do you mean don't directly compete? I mean, if you're in neighboring territories, wouldn't it be beneficial to control them both? I don't know. I thought they have, yeah, okay, so someone says blah, blah, blah. They have localized monopolies in all areas because of the infrastructure. Someone says Time Warner Cable is better than Comcast. Someone says, my parents just canceled TV and use internet now. Someone says, Slick, let me get that shirt. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Someone asked what racket I have. I use an ArmorTech 900 Technique 4U version with the
okay, so
longer handle.
Local law. This is stupid. Local laws do not allow more than one ISP in an area in most places in the States. That's just plain stupid.
Actually, I didn't even know that because I'm Canadian.
I didn't know that either.
We have crappy ISPs, but at least we can choose which pile of poo we like.
Or both.
Or both.
Currently, we chose both.
Yeah, we chose both. We want to give all of our money to all of them because we need to like cue dramatic music. We have like a mixer now. We just need like, we need to get some tracks like they have on the radio. Do, 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 you know, like, I want to live in a world where we can give our money to every service provider monthly on the 1st and 15th of the month, never missing a payment because missing a payment is not North American. And
we want to pay for Netflix and games.
and
monthly.
Cable TV, because Netflix should never have sporting events on it. Instead, I should have one service for live and one service for video on demand. And another service for movies. And YouTube, I want to pay for that too.
Eventually you'll just get this like combined check from like the combined conglomerate that is all of the companies. It'll be like, this is your monthly check for content and entertainment. Bye-bye to half of your paycheck. Owned.
Well, it's like,
Oh, right, the by and large.
yeah, the by and large from Wall-E. It all comes back to that. At some point, Costco, Amazon, and like Google are all just going to merge. And then that'll be that.
Well, that was oh, nope, not going to go into that yet because we haven't argued and been pissed off about that yet, so I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right. What else we got here? Oh,
Happy topic.
I'm sorry?
Happy topic.
Happy topic. Yeah. Is that... Yeah, that's the one I was going to... So Timmy from TimmyTechTV, one of our fellow YouTuber buddies here, is doing a donation per subscriber to Cocoon House. So up to $2,500, Tim is going to donate 10 cents per subscriber. So I already tweeted about this, so you can find that in my Twitter feed if you want to know more about it. But it's at TimmyTechTV on the Twitter, and there you go. You guys can definitely check that out. He makes tech videos as well. And let's move into our Squarespace thing. So guys, if you haven't already heard of Squarespace, and if you go to squarespace.com/Linus, then you can definitely give us credit when you go and check it out and try out a free subscription, or free trial rather. They give you 2 weeks to build up a little website for yourself and pretty it up and then decide if you like it. It's a subscription-based service, speaking of subscription-based services, but at least this is one that makes sense because they do a lot of stuff for you. In addition to giving you the tools to create a website that looks great and is functional, whether it's on the desktop or on a mobile platform, they will also cover the actual hosting fees for you. And it's all dynamically adjustable, so if you, for whatever reason, were doing a live stream to almost 4,000 people and you were like, guys, why don't you all hit linusmediagroup.com at exactly the same time, it would kind of go, yeah, we're good. And it can dynamically adjust itself in a way that like a small web hosting server somewhere on a limited connection might not be able to handle. Squarespace also has a new tool called Logo, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. It's a very easy logo generator that allows you to make a little logo. It has little graphics that you can choose that are contributed by artists, and you can make yourself a nice little business card. It's not meant to replace professional artists, but at least it's something for very small businesses or charities or blogs, or if you want to make a portfolio website, it gives you something that you can put on there so that it looks more professional. The last thing that I wanted to bring up about Squarespace is they're doing a huge recruitment campaign. So they're calling this Be a Part of It. You go ahead and apply, and so you can register to sort of indicate your interest in a job, and there's actually a bunch of really cool stuff about this program. So number one is that they are giving a bounty to anyone who refers someone who eventually does get hired. So I actually didn't copy all of my notes for this, so this is going to be embarrassing when my Squarespace contact reads this. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I went to the wrong URL. No, I did go to the right URL.
One thing to note is by the time the Twitch stream caught up with you after you said that you could point everyone to the website, we did significantly increase the ping, but not beyond reasonable levels, and then it did fracture itself back down.
Yeah. I know. See, it works. Anyway, so when you interview at Squarespace, so if you get called for an interview, you and your spouse or partner get to go to New York for the weekend, which is kind of cool. They're looking to hire 30 engineers and designers by March 15th, so it's about a month. You get to experience New York by working there, and obviously during your weekend that they pay for you to come and interview. They have grown from a single-person startup to a visionary technology company of over 250. This is part of their whole sort of pitch as to why you would want to work there. They talk about their jobs, how they're one of the best places to work, and they've won awards for being the best place to work in 2012 and 2013. That's kind of cool. Maybe I should apply. And check this out. Refer a friend and fly to New York. I guess that's what the bounty is. So there you go, guys. You should check that out. It's beapartofit.squarespace.com. And then, of course, if you do decide that you just want to use the service and have a website, then go ahead and head over to squarespace.com/Linus. You get 10% off your membership if you use our offer code, which is Linus2. I should probably have that up there. See? Just like that. Linus2, right over there. If you use Linus2, and I'm missing something. Right. They pay for your domain if you sign up for a year right from the get-go. So they'll give you a free domain in addition to the hosting that you're already paying them for.
How does that domain thingy work? If they pay for your domain and then you leave, can you take the domain?
Not sure. But you got 14 days of free trial to ask them questions. They have 24/7 support. See, they have so many talking points. I can't cover them all in a single read. Oh, you were leading me into more talking points. That's okay. I think I covered it pretty well. I think you guys mostly know what Squarespace is. It's just the kind of thing that you have to kind of try it to believe it. We switched from a WordPress site to Squarespace for LinusMediaGroup.com. And yeah, that's what my web guy looked like when we did it. Because instead of him picking at every little thing bit by bit, which you can play around with on Squarespace, but you don't have to, it was able to be done by Edsel in like less than a day.
And I'm not a designer.
Yeah. So it's the kind of thing that designers or even non-designers can do if you have a little bit of know-how. All right, so let's move into our next topic. Oh, it's going to be an angry topic.
Which one do you want to fight about?
I'm going to let you pick.
Should we do Flappy Bird so we can start getting people talking about it now?
Yeah, let's do Flappy Birds.
Okay, so...
Freaking Flappy Bird.
Yeah, freaking Flappy Bird. So there's a massive amount of people disagreeing with each other, and as far as I can tell, just massive mountains of misinformation, as the actual guy himself has really not said that much.
Yeah, Dong Nguyen has taken the game down, but has done so fairly quietly.
Fairly quietly. He hasn't said a ton. There is people that have like screen captured some of his tweets, but usually it's like he said 4 to 5 words, and then people have essays on what he's actually saying, but like we're not interpreting a poem. Part of the problem is, for one, he's ESL, so he has interpreted a lot of people incorrectly.
I think that's actually sort of an impolite term these days.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
But
But
he's
like,
speaking in
sorry,
English.
we're not trying to be rude
I don't
to
mean
him or
it
anything. It just means
negatively.
English second language. That's all we intended.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is I know some of it, at least some portion of it, this part is fairly straightforward, is because he was getting a lot of what he felt were attacks. Someone would say, like, I've been playing for the last 8 hours and my eyes are bleeding. I hate you. But, like, that's not actually necessarily a negative thing. I don't think they really mean the I hate you part, and they've been playing for the last 8 hours probably because they enjoy it. But he received that very negatively and was like, oh my god, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have played this much, I'm sorry. And I think he's having a lot of trouble with all the pressure, that's for sure, but it's a lot of other things that people have been speculating about that we don't really know. People have said that he makes 50K like a day on it or something like that. But then, like, where does that necessarily come from? I've heard that the original source for that might not have actually been 100% accurate, or that it might have been an estimation, or it was accurate, or it's totally not accurate, who knows. If you go to our social media page for our social blade page, for Linus Tech Tips, that's totally not accurate.
Yeah, we can't tell you how much our earnings actually are because it's against the terms of our agreement with Google. But I can tell you that A, that's an extremely wide range. It's actually a full order of magnitude from the minimum to the maximum. And B, like, it's not even necessarily closer to one or the other. It's just, yeah, it's
Totally flippity-floppy.
It's a number.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
There's people saying he took it down for legal reasons, even when he said he didn't, but then it kind of might make sense that he did, and then who the heck knows? There's people wondering if he's having problems with Nintendo because of the pipes, and then who the heck knows?
The game's not even good. Like, how did this become an internet sensation?
There's been people saying that he got bots to download it and rate it so that it would go up to the top of the list so that people would actually start playing it, and then that's why it played, but then who knows?
But then why would he take it down at that point?
Then why would he take it down? Because he's making so much money. Did he copy the game? Is it just a new version of Helicopter? But then who cares? But then did he copy
Everything's a new version of Helicopter.
Yeah, but then did he copy a newer game? Someone else that also made a new version of Helicopter. Total Biscuit has good comments on it where he actually doesn't say a ton about it, but he's talking to his own subreddit about why he's abandoning the subreddit. It's because he can't take all the hate, essentially, all the people attacking him over so many things, and he brings up the Flappy Bird context, which that makes sense because there's so much. It was so sudden, it was so quick, it was 0 to not hero all of a sudden because he was getting attacked by a lot of people. There's so much crap going around that I didn't have enough time to properly say this is how it is before we did the show. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know. Twitter Blitz, guys. At Linus Tech on Twitter. What's your theory? And we'll try to go through quite a few tweets on this. I mean, one comment that I have for both John Total Biscuit Bane and for Don Nguyen here, is like, people say stuff on the internet. You can't get. I mean, did you ever read early comments on my videos?
Yeah, and I've read early comments about myself, and I've read current comments about myself.
I mean, you can't take that stuff seriously.
And like one thing that you have to do is like just try to focus on the positive ones.
Absolutely.
Or the neutral ones. Neutral ones, honestly, you can often get a lot of information from.
You know how... Okay, I don't know if you've noticed this, but how many negative comments are there on my videos?
Right now?
Yeah.
Not a ton, to be honest.
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Not because I fought with them, not because I made public statements about how much they're bothering me, because I just ignored them, because I don't care. That's all there is to it. How to make negative comments about your work go away is find the people who are saying something positive and thank them for saying something positive. Positive reinforcement will always work better on people than negative reinforcement and arguing with people. Why would you argue with someone who doesn't like what you're doing and doesn't like you? Are you going to hope to impress them?
with your anger?
With your arguing? With your I mean, in the case of someone like John, like Total Biscuit, with your formidable and articulate, excellent arguing, and probably correct arguing, but, I mean, it's arguing on the internet. No one wins. Everyone's just angry.
It can get to, like, it can get to people, and that's part of John's thing, is he's saying it's like the volume it's just so much. There's so much of it, and, like, he didn't mind when the subreddit was fairly small, because there was some negativity, but it wasn't just, like, overwhelming waves of it. And he just can't deal with it because of the volume.
I find Reddit a pretty negative community in general. I mean, don't take this the wrong way, guys, but the whole... I mean, the internet culture of glomming onto things that are funny or stupid or that you don't like and making that as public as possible definitely exists. And Reddit, with its up and down voting, is one of the communities that really does it very effectively. Finding things that they really like and bringing it to everyone's attention, and finding things that they really hate and bringing that to everyone's attention. I mean, it's part of the structure of the website, and I'm not criticizing that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that it would be... I think it fosters a culture that might either cause people to be, lifted up. I mean, in ways that Gay Ben gets. I mean, I'm pretty tongue-in-cheek about the whole Lord and Savior Gay Ben thing, but, when something gets joked about long enough, I think people do start to take it a little bit seriously, and then at the other end of the spectrum, you take something like Flappy Birds, or you take something like a controversial thing that Total Biscuit said, which happens every once in a blue moon. He'll say something controversial, and I think that it can create that sort of overwhelming wave of negativity in the same way that it can create an overwhelming wave of positivity, and there's really no middle ground on Reddit. Because anything on Reddit that's at the top that's going to be seen is either really positive or really negative. And that I think is the reason that I don't really hang out there. I have a subreddit, I think. Someone created it or something. But I don't go there because it's not something that I don't personally prefer, that approach. LinusTechTips.com. We have our own website. So, if people want to talk to us, like I've had people ask me if I'll do an AMA on Reddit. I'm like, no. Come on our forum, ask me a friggin' question. I read our forum every day. I did it as an advertisement for the live stream the first time I did one. And then I answered the questions on the live stream, which I didn't realize at the time is not how you're supposed to do an AMA.
Yeah.
So I posted one and people asked me questions and I did answer them, but I didn't really do it right.
Oh.
So anyway, the Linus Tech Tips forum is the place to post stuff if you have questions
That actually reminded me about another thing, which is
boy.
people were saying that Flappy Birds might have blown up because of Reddit. There's even things that I found that I don't remember because there's way too many. So, yeah, theories away.
And Reddit has that power. They can make things blow up. They're sort of like terrorists that way. And everyone hated Linus. And there was like, Linus in his video says Reddit is terrorist. And upvote. Oh, this guy's terrible. Don't take on Reddit. It's a mistake. All right, Rob says, I thought he was concerned that people were playing it too much.
See, but then, like, and that's, yeah, I saw that, I think, at least once.
Dong giveth, dong taketh away. Ah! Why you be so stupid, Chrome? I'll go on this side. Okay. Steam sales. Okay. I think this guy with the Flappy Birds knows what he was doing. He will make even more money from the publicity. It's hard to make money off of it when you're not selling it anymore.
He has other games in the store that have risen in popularity due to the Flappy Birds thing.
All right. I don't think he wanted to deal with the comments. Not everyone can take that in stride like Total Biscuit or you. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, no one wants to hear this, but I would make the argument the internet is always going to bring out anonymity. I think brings out the worst in people and sometimes the best in people, but often the way that we see it manifested on the internet is bringing out the worst in people, and people will say things to you on the internet that they would never say to you in person. I've actually met, I don't know if I told you this, I had the privilege of meeting one of my internet haters in person. Super charming guy. We had lunch.
I think I remember this.
And it really drove home the point to me that what people say and what they do on the internet is not necessarily even the real person. And that was actually a bit of a turning point for me, because I decided to stop judging and stop fighting with the things that people said on the internet, because I started to see them not as the real people, but as their personas. Yeah. In much the same way that my video personality is not 100% of exactly who I am. I mean, I think I'm fairly genuine. And you know, it's not necessarily even intentional, but when you're talking to a camera, that's not the same way that you, like, you know, sit back and hang out with your friends.
You have to project energy, and then that changes you at least to a certain degree. Exactly.
And on the internet, people are interacting with people in different ways. All right. Okay, someone says, Fabio says when he was also living in a country where $600 a month is a lot, so when he got $50,000 a day, it got suspicious. I don't think that's a big deal, though, because it's not like he's going to have a hard time proving that the money is legitimate.
Yeah.
Matthew says, I actually believe him. When getting thrusted into the spotlight, even the most popular... okay, I think that was a typo. But some people can collapse under the pressure, and that's true. Going from zero to hero overnight can be... in this case, I'm with Dong, even though I don't necessarily think that people who have gotten internet famous more gradually can complain. But I'm with Dong on this one, because for me, it was very jarring the first time I got recognized at the mall. Like, it completely threw me off. And that happened very gradually. Like, people kind of knew who I was online, and then they, you know, recognized me in person from time to time, or they'd email me, and then I got recognized in person from time to time. Then I'd go places like tech trade shows, like CES, or like NCIX store grand openings, and, you know, 1 in every 5 or 10 people knows who I am, and I got to adjust to that over time. Whereas from zero to, holy crap, you're internet famous? Okay, I'll buy that. Zaki says, I think he just took it too serious. Or take it so serious. I'm enjoying the game. It's fun. And yeah, sometimes it's stressful. Overall, it's a fun game. Okay. I hope for the next WAN show you show off Flappy Space Program. So, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, I'm afraid to click on that.
Everyone's making Flappy everything right now.
Okay. Flappy Birds after had the ads changed days later. Okay. I think he just pulled it down because he wanted to stop hearing about the negativity. I like that he took it down, but people found a loophole to getting him. Of course they did.
It's pirated like crazy already.
Yep. Someone says, I think he just misinterpreted some of the comments, and that it was stupid anyway, says Nick. Girls started calling him the Flappy Bird guy. I would take it down too if that happened to me. Would you?
For 50 grand a day.
For 50 grand a day.
You're making like...
And girls call you the Flappy Bird guy and know you're making 50 grand a day. And you can drive up to them in your car. I'd be like, I'd have sunglasses with Flappy Bird on either side of them, and I'd be like...
Sup?
What's up, ladies? I'm the Flappy Bird guy. Not everyone's like that.
Can you beat my high score? I got 44.
Okay, I think we need to not go down that path. Couldn't handle the pressure of knowing how many Flappy Birds had died.
Can you handle the pressure?
Maybe part of a government conspiracy and just didn't like money. I kind of doubt that one. I would ignore every single comment and keep filling my pockets with fat stacks, yo, says Ali.
I actually think there's a lot of people that would have just been like, all right, done. Sure. Just like disconnected from the internet and then just let their game rot.
That's not a bad strategy. Just like unplug for a couple months, because the internet has a short... The attention span of the internet, let's go back to Reddit for a minute, is about equal to the decay algorithm on Reddit's front page.
Yeah, so like if you disconnect for long enough, just it won't matter. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. Okay. I think that's about it for now. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's make sure we're not missing any of our headline topics before we...
Yeah, 290.
Oh, yeah. 290Xs have gone as high as $900. $350 clear of the original price of the 290X. So this was actually an article posted on AnonTech. I Like Mac and PC posted it on our forum. So here's a link to the article on AnonTech by Ryan Smith. And this is like, it's like hilarious. So there's a couple things here. Number one is the prices have hit $900, which is ridiculous. Number two, oh, they've changed. Oh, I'm at new, oh, they changed them.
What just happened?
Interesting. I wonder if there's an update to the article already. What's this P?
It's not on... What? There's also not as many cards as there were.
Interesting. $6.99, $7.99 for the liquid cooled one. Okay, well maybe this isn't news anymore. I want to know what this P means.
When I did this article like 2 hours ago, they were there.
Huh. All right, well, apparently, because, okay, so to be clear, guys, okay, so there were a couple of observations from Ryan. Number one was that every single card was $899.99, whether it had an air cooler, a reference cooler, a water block.
That is not how it was when I looked.
And that's not how it was when you looked. So when he looked, that's what it looked like. And then the other interesting observation was that this wasn't happening in other territories. So Ian Cuttress, who also works for AnonTech, checked out some of, his favorite UK retailers, and pricing was only marginally above the North American MSRP, which it usually is, because graphics cards tend to be more expensive in Europe. So
that, I just did an inspect element on that P, and it's a membership icon.
Membership icon?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And
if you're clicking on these SKUs, they're just not linked to anything? What is going on their website? What are they doing? We should call up Paul and be like,
dude.
Yo, dog.
Oh, this one works.
What are you doing?
Premier member.
Premier member. Does that mean you have to be a Premier member to buy it? Oh, no, it's eligible for free shipping on returns, free 3-day shipping. Oh, okay. So it looks like it's kind of like Prime, but Premier, which has the same letters as Prime, but has more letters, and is therefore better. More letters is more better. All right. So, of course, all of this is due to Litecoin and Dogecoin mining and all that kind of stuff, and actually not a whole lot to do with how price performance competitive something like the R9 290X happens to be. I really don't know where the end of this is, but it's pretty clear that for gamers right now, even at $700, that's not a competitive card. For gamers right now, the better option is to go for something like a GTX 780 and then, get like a pretty decent chunk of cash towards a nice CPU to go along with it, or a couple cool games.
There was a comparison made by AnonTech saying that if you paid that price plus $10, you could get a 780 Ti and an i5 4670K. I compared, it wasn't exactly $10 as far as I could find, but that was maybe due to Canadian pricing, but for not very much more, you could still get a 780 Ti and a 4670K, talking about like $50-$60. So,
and we consider that you don't need a 780 Ti to perform better than a 290X. There's a cheaper card that does that. It starts to become pretty hard to justify for gamers. And does NVIDIA still have that game bundle running?
That I don't know.
I'm not sure. Sorry guys, don't quote me on the game bundle. AMD also has their game bundle running as well. I think they just added, was it Thief to it or something? They added something to it.
Yeah, I know AMD was doing something with Thief, so that would make sense.
All right. I'm not gonna get too ranty about this. I just don't have the strength for it. No trouble, posted on the forum. The original source is TheVerge.com. Google and Foxconn are going to be working together on a new vision of roboticized factories. So what this will amount to is heavy investment upfront in automated robotic systems replacing low-wage, menial jobs like plugging in Actually, I mean, some of this is being done already. So things like plugging in connectors on motherboards, or even assembling things like phones and tablets, potentially, completely replacing those low-end jobs with machines. This will allow them to do a couple of things. Number one is reduce their labor force. So there was a quote, this was in the Verge article, from someone who worked in a department that used to have 30 people connecting wires to motherboards. Remember, Foxconn assembles a lot of different stuff. Everything from, you know, little tiny like phones and stuff, all the way up to things like OEM PCs for other tier 1 PC manufacturers. And they were able to take that team and reduce it from 30 people doing all the stuff to 5 people pretty much pressing buttons and controlling the machines. Okay, so that's effect number one, and then effect number two, the other impact, is that this approach could help move new tech jobs in the manufacturing sector back overseas to North America. So
it's not very surprising because of certain acquisitions from Google recently. They bought Boston Dynamics, which makes those crazy robotic running things like Big Dog, and I think it's called Wildcat or something along those. Yeah, Wildcat. So they recently acquired a robotics company. They've been looking into AI forever. This just all kind of makes sense. Now, Big Dog isn't exactly manufacturing, but when you acquire something like Boston Dynamics, I'm sure you acquire a lot of extremely skilled engineers, and I'm sure they could take something like that and adapt certain systems like the articulating arms and stuff into some type of manufacturing system.
Because, I mean, really that's the advantage that humans have over machines, is the ability to to think and to reason as they do things, as well as to have everything from good coarse motor control to very fine motor control, the ability to diagnose something and look closely at it and carefully while they're assembling something. And between better robotic vision, which is advancing very, very quickly these days, and more... Wow, look at that. I hadn't actually watched this video before. That's fantastic.
It's a really old video, too.
Yeah, this is from 2008.
Yeah.
And being able to build devices like this that have the grace and reactivity of a human, we don't necessarily need people to put stuff together anymore. And one of the things that they're saying, and this is a quote from The Verge's article again. Let me just find the right quote. Is that one of the benefits is that they want to compete better with... Hold on, let me see if I can...
Are you playing... apparently the sound from that video was terrible.
Oh, sorry guys. So this is from another article that is also on The Verge. Foxconn begins replacing workers with robots ahead of U.S. expansion. And this is a quote. "We have to begin to add more value in the process. Otherwise, it will be difficult to attract a young generation of workers." And that is similar to one of the things that President Obama said, was that he replied that certain low-skill jobs are simply not going to come back, and the country should therefore focus on developing more advanced manufacturing. I call BS. How does removing menial jobs make it easier to employ younger people who are unwilling to do those menial jobs? You haven't replaced those jobs with something.
I actually didn't see that quote. I don't think they're helping the job market. I think this is inevitable and has been happening throughout the entire history of human existence.
Well, yeah, it was bound to happen.
But like,
I mean, I personally, just throwing this out there, I think the robotic revolution is going to be potentially on the scale of the industrial revolution and mass production.
Wondering if it's going to be bigger.
In terms of what a difference it'll make to how the labor force gets distributed and how tasks are performed by people, because we're not talking. I mean, the goals here, okay? So the goals of making it more appealing to the younger generation of people or moving manufacturing back to the US, neither of those goals are actually going to be creating any additional jobs. And if the cost of the goods goes down proportionally, then fine. But if instead the end objective is to give the executives that came up with the idea of replacing the people with machines with a large upfront investment, but then a very small long-term cost, if the idea is just to put more money in their pockets, then who's going to buy an iPhone? That's what I worry about. What impact will this have? And how far away are we from the by and large? I mean, maybe WALL-E is more prophetic than even I thought it was.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of a really big deal.
Because the thing about low-end menial jobs is that not everyone can be an executive. That's just life. There's only so much decision-making to be done before someone has to actually do the work. And at the end of the day, someone has to actually make the sandwich at Subway, or what else will they do?
It's becoming interesting because, like in the WALL-E universe where everyone just kind of carts around.
And doesn't have to pay for anything or do anything.
But why is that going to happen? Why would the super rich allow that to happen? They obviously don't care. They will obviously let you just rot and die. So I think it's going to be WALL-E, but with a lot less of the everyone gets everything.
So maybe WALL-E is a best case scenario?
Unfortunately, I'm thinking maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I went to the drive-thru at Burger King today, or Wendy's today, and I was kind of sitting there, and you know how a lot of the drive-thrus have added that voice that says, "Hi, welcome to wherever. Can I take your order?" And then you say whatever it is, and then a completely different voice of the actual person taking your order comes back. And I was thinking about it as I went through the drive-thru. At some point, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, will there even be a restaurant you can walk into? Or will it be, future style, everyone has to go through the drive-thru, and will that person be completely gone, replaced by smarter Google voice recognition and smart Google robots?
I think there will be super expensive restaurants that you can go into.
You care if a robot makes your food?
Depends.
What if it does a better job? Because quite frankly, it probably will.
Then I probably wouldn't care.
What if it's faster and does a better job, and yet...
Because, and people are going to be like, oh, but you're taking jobs away from people. Yeah, but I'm ignoring that part completely. Because it's what I would care about. I would care that person doesn't have a job. I wouldn't necessarily care that my food was made by a robot, unless it was worse in some possible way.
I just wonder what people will do. If no one has to make a sandwich or assemble a phone... Speaking of assembling phones, I actually took apart a phone for the first time. Not my one, but my wife's Droid DNA. And, I felt like this kind of gave me a better understanding of the electronics assembly process, because I took the whole thing all completely apart, down to the screen, and then replaced the screen on it, and then put the whole thing back together. And I was kind of sitting there thinking about it today as I was in the drive-thru, and I was thinking about this article, and I was like, if a robot could do that, what couldn't it do?
It's going to be interesting. There's a forum on the internet that I frequent that talks about futurology and stuff, what is actually going to happen. And the future of the 60s was all this awesome stuff, all this automation that we're starting to see and stuff, but then no one thought about the ramifications, the fact that no one will have a job at some point. And then it's who's going to make the uber rich, the 1%, whatever, pay the people that aren't doing anything because there's nothing for them to do.
And, like, not everyone can be a lawyer. And I don't mean this in the sense of, like, you know, the gods and clods talk that Kyle's dad gives him on South Park. I mean, not everyone is cut out to be a lawyer. I personally couldn't handle it. There you go. Up front. I am not one of those, you know, elite upper tier, like, memory and, you know, elite upper tier of, you know, arguing with people. And, like, I'm just not cut out for that. Not everyone can do every job, and if you take away an entire segment of what people do, I just don't know what they'll do. And I mean, you look at some of the new jobs that are emerging, things like being game streamers. You guys are on Twitch TV, you're aware of this. Game streaming, is that something that anyone is going to be willing to pay for? An entire generation of people whose jobs it is to entertain each other.
If there's, that's actually,
Could we sustain ourselves that way?
Well, if you look into the past, entertainment has exploded
Yes.
completely. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's more and more and more jobs because there isn't other stuff to do. So it does kind of make sense. But then that's the same thing as the lawyer. Not everyone can be an entertainer. Not everyone can be a lawyer. Not everyone can be a lumberjack because that's incredibly hard. Not everyone can do all these different things.
I know my wood's hard.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
All
interesting. I hope that it's taken care of, but who knows?
I don't think we're in a position to influence it one way or the other. We just have our little show. We'll be entertainers.
We'll try.
Thank you guys for letting us be entertainers.
Please.
Please let us keep being entertainers. Speaking of which, you can support us on the forum. We have paid memberships now. Please take your sandwich money and, well, no, not your sandwich money. I don't want the people who might not be making sandwiches anymore to give us their money. See, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, I feel terrible about, like I actually feel guilty that my job is somewhat safe, at least for now.
Maybe.
You know, maybe it isn't. What if...
They've talked about the holographic actors thing.
Exactly.
They might not need actors for movies anymore.
So, that'll be really expensive for a while. And even if you don't need actors, you will still need people for extremely time-sensitive stuff for probably quite some time. But when real-time rendering engines and, you know, mouth and facial synchronization with a voiceover comes to be, will we need me anymore? Can we just have really nice B-roll of a product which can be produced by a robot, and it could do better shots than poor Brandon could ever do.
Because it's a robot.
Because it's a robot. Will we just have really nice B-roll, and then will we have a digitally rendered guy that sits and tells you all the key points about it, and will we need me anymore? And how far away are we from that?
Probably not that far.
Isn't that terrifying?
So...
Okay, maybe we do want the sandwich money. Anyway, guys, if you go to the Linus Tech Tips forum and you click on the If You Love Us, click to see our affiliates and support us. We do have all the support options there. It ranges from everything as simple as adding our Amazon link to your browser toolbar and to your bookmarks so that anything you buy on Amazon gives us an affiliate kickback, all the way to contributing directly to the costs that are directly associated with our business here. So paying his paycheck, paying my paycheck, paying for our servers to be up and the equipment that we need to bring you all these shows. And that's all there. No pressure, of course, because everything will be free and we will do everything regardless of whether you guys contribute. It's just that we'll appreciate it very much if you do. Which leads us to our last topic, which is the Titanfall Beta. I didn't get a code. Did you get one?
I did.
You bastard. Apparently, and this was posted by Chris LX Cross on the forum, if you contact EA support and tell them the code you received didn't work, they will add access to your account. He posted a chat log of it working, and there it is, Titanfall, right there. I'm hearing mixed reports, with some people saying it is balls to the walls amazing, and some people saying it sucks, and then some people saying it's overrated, which it probably would have to be given how hyped it was.
Yeah, it's a big change, though. That's the whole kind of idea, is that we're moving away from Modern Warfare 4 for the first time in a while.
Holy crap.
It's something is different. They have jetpacks. They have these giant robot things. There's different areas where the pilots can run around that the robots can't get them. There's all these. There's very the levels are much more vertical because if you go really high with a jetpack and land on top of one of the robots, you can start ripping them apart. There's much
Someone
more
says COD
different
with mechs.
Yeah, essentially, but it didn't have mechs before. So now it does, and it has jetpacks, and it has all this other crap. So we'll see if it's worth anything at all soon, I guess. I'll try to stream it at some point in time this weekend. I will not be streaming tonight unless it is extremely, extremely late.
Yeah, it's Valentine's Day, guys, so tell me.
Nope.
You got a date?
And I don't think it's under NDA because I have seen a lot of people streaming it on Twitch.
I know it's not under NDA. You can't have a non-disclosure agreement for a date.
Unlike Elder Scrolls Online.
Is this anything to do with that hickey you had on the show a couple months ago?
No, actually.
Ooh, that's awkward.
Thanks. Oh no.
I think we're done here. Okay, one more thing. Speaking of depressing, Microsoft's head of PC gaming, posted by Beebskadoo on the forum, calls it quits after only 6 months. Ex-Valve employee Jason Holtman was recruited to spearhead their PC gaming and entertainment division. Now he is gone. There was a bunch of talk at the time about how Microsoft was serious about PC gaming again, and we haven't given up on you guys. And since then, the X-Bone has been released. We have no compatibility on the PC for this controller. They're throwing proprietary dongles at us in order to use our gaming headsets, and they are just basically acting unfriendlier than ever. Thank you very much, Microsoft. To me, it is no amazing coincidence that Mr. Holtman decided to leave. So thank you very guys much for watching the show today. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy lives on a Valentine's Day, no less. I'm glad the Titanfall servers were down, because if it wasn't for that, I'm willing to bet a lot fewer of you would be here. No, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. You would have been here watching this show anyway, right?
At least on a secondary monitor.
At least on a second monitor, or like on a phone or something.
Or in the background, or on a tablet.
You would have had it on your TV that's behind you that you can't see. And you would have been wearing open headphones so you can hear us in addition to the game sounds.
There you go.
Peace out, guys.
So she watches later, not tonight.
It's on still.
I know.
Okay.